Today we're going to practice multiplying by tens, hundreds, and thousands. So as you can see here below, I have written down 10, 100,000 and with its equivalent standard form version of 10, 100,000. Over here on this side here, I've matched up with it. We know that 10 times 1 is our 10, 10 times 10 is our 100, and 10 times 100 is our 1,000. Okay, so down here below, we're going to look down here. We have 6 times 10. And of course, most of us know that 6 times 10 is 60. Notice here that we take the 6 times the 1 and we get 6, because using the property of 1 multiplication, multiplication property of 1, we know that 6 times 1, or anything times 1, is going to be itself. So we have 6, and then we have 1 0, so we're adding a 0 over here. Now we have 6 times 100. 6 times 100, well, 6 times 1 is going to be 6, and we're going to have our 2 zeros in there because 6 times 100 is going to be 600. 6 times 1,000 is once again going to be 6, and then we have 3 zeros, so we're going to have 6,000. Over here, on the second one over here, we have 8 times 10. 8 times 10, 8 times 1 is going to be 8, and with a 0, 8 times 10 is 80. If we count by tens, we can go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 to know that we're up to 80. 8 times 100 is going to be the same as 8 times 10, which is 80. And then if you notice, we have one other 0 here, so we're going to add another 0 over here. So we're going to put a 0 there. 8 times 100 is going to be 800. Same thing down below. 8 times 1 for our 8 here times our 1 in 1,000. 8 times 1,000 is still going to be 8,000. On our next slide here, we're going to work through several different problems. The first column here, we have our tens, so we're multiplying one digit by a two-digit number with tens. So we're going to look here, and we're going to look at, on this first one here, we're going to look at the 3 and at the 7. Now, knowing our multiplication really helps here. We need to have that memorized. I know that 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 7 is 21. If I have 1 0 here, I'm going to add 1 0 to my answer over here. So that gives us 3 times 7 is 21 plus a 0 at the end. So 3 times 70 is 210. We'll go down to the next one here. 5 and 9. 5 times 9 I know is 45. And then I have 1 0, so I'm going to add a 0 there. So 5 times 90 is 450. Same thing here. 7 times 2. 7 times 2 is going to be 14. And I have 1 0 there, so I'm going to add 1 0 over here. I get 140. 7 times 20 is 140. And we have our 6 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. And I have 1 0, so I'm going to add 1 0 here. I get 480. 6 times 80 is 480. Now, in order for us to be able to do this multiplication, we need to know our multiplication facts. So it's very important for right now and through the rest of this year that we keep practicing our multiplication facts so that we have them all memorized. Now we go over and we're looking at our second column here. And on our second column here, we have our first digit is a 6, and then we have a 7 in the hundredths place. So we have 6 times 700. But we're just going to look at the 6 and the 7 digits. 6 times 7 is 42. We have 2 zeros, so we're going to add our 2 zeros. And we get 6 times 700 is 4,200. So now we're going to go on. If you notice here, 6 times 7 is 4,200 or 4,200. If we were going to rename that as hundreds, it would be 42 hundreds. So our next one here is 2 times 800. Well, 2 times 8 is going to be 16. And then we add over our 2 zeros, and we get our answer, which is 1,600 or 16 hundreds. We have our next one. 6 times 6 is 36. We have our 2 zeros, and we get 3,600, which could be renamed as 3,600. And then we have our 8 times 4 for 8 times 400. 8 times 4 is 32. And because it's 100, I'm going to go ahead and put in my 2 zeros. I get a 3,200 or a 3,200 if it was renamed. On our next one here, we're moving into our thousands, as you can see. So we have 3 times 9 right here. 3 and a 9 are digits. 3 times 9,000, well, 3 times 9 is going to be 27. And then because I have thousands, I have 3 zeros here. I'm going to add 3 zeros, which is going to give me 27,000. On my next one here, I have 2 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16. I have 1, 2, 3 zeros. That gives me 16,000, because 2 times 8,000 is going to be 16,000. Our next one, we have a 5 times 6,000. Well, 5 times 6 is 30. So 5 times 6,000 would be 30,000. Because we just move over our 1, 2, 3 zeros there. 1, 2, 3 zeros there. Our next one here, we have 7 times 7,000. And 7 times 7 is 49. And because it's 7 times 7,000, it's 49,000. We're just going to move over our 3 zeros here. Move over here. And then we have our 6 times 70,000. Now, I've kind of jumped the gun here. I've kind of went a little higher than our thousands place. But that's okay. 6 times 70,000. We can look at the two digits, the digit 6 and the 7. 6 times 7 is 42. So we put our 42 down. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. And then we're going to come over every 3. So we're going to count over 1, 2, 3. And right here is going to be my comma. So we get a 420,000. 6 times 70,000 is 420,000. Or 42 10,000s. And that's basically how we multiply tens, hundreds, and thousands by a single digit.